This is From the Rock to the Hill, your weekly breakdown of political news from Newfoundland and Labrador and across Canada.
If you've ever felt like politics in Newfoundland and Labrador gets overlooked, or what's happening in Ottawa is somewhere far away, you're not alone. But here's the thing, what happens on the Rock and what happens on the Hill are more connected than ever. From healthcare wait times in St. John's to federal funding decisions in Ottawa, politics is shaping daily life in ways most people don't even notice until it hits home. And that's what this show is about. Welcome to From the Rock from the Hill, your weekly breakdown of political news from Newfoundland and Labrador and across Canada. I'm your host, Kyle Brookings, and each week we'll cut through the noise with no spin, no jargon. Just what's happening, why it matters, and how it affects you. We'll look at provincial politics in Newfoundland and Labrador, federal decisions in Ottawa, and everything in between. Let's get into it. Well, when it comes to provincial politics, there's not really a whole lot on the go. The provincial government, though, is welcoming a new agreement between fish harvesters and seafood producers for the snowcraft fishing season. This comes after months of negotiations and industry uncertainty. The FFAW is calling the agreement an uneasy agreement, and the deal provides a framework to begin the season while allowing prices to adjust as market conditions change. So under the agreement, harvesters will be paid $6 per pound for crab landed up to and including April 18th, so that was yesterday. That will establish a starting price as vessels headed out to sea. By April 19th, so today, that price is going to drop to $5.75 per pound until market pricing begins to be published. So the agreement does not include a minimum floor price, meaning earnings will fluctuate with market conditions over the course of the season. The deal differs significantly from a previous panel decision and is aimed at providing more immediate stability as the season gets underway. I'll have your national highlights after this. Welcome back. Well, the big story this week was the 3 by-elections that took place, 2 in Ontario and 1 in Quebec, that handed the Liberals a majority government. With Prime Minister Mark Carney now governing with a majority government, Canada will not head to the polls until 2029. Of course, a majority government allows Liberals to pass legislation without needing any support from the opposition parties. 2 of the ridings, the riding of University Rosedale and Scarborough Southwest, were considered to be Liberal holds regardless. The riding of Terrebonne in Quebec was a battle between the Liberals and the Bloc. The Liberals had won in the last election, however, that result was overturned by the Supreme Court of Canada. The following day, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced the temporary suspension of the fuel excise tax. So that's going to come into effect on April 20th, and it will last to Labor Day on September 7th. The cut will amount to about a 10-cent drop in gas prices and about a 4% drop in diesel prices. The cut also applies to aviation fuel costs. And finally, we'll go to Quebec, where Quebec now has a new premier. Former Cabinet Minister Christine Fréchette has been elected as the CAQ leader. In the leadership race, she replaced François Legault. She defeated Bernard Drainville with 57.9% of the vote. Legault announced back in January that he would be resigning as the leader of the party and also as the premier. The next Quebec provincial election is scheduled for October 5th, 2026. That's it for the first episode of From the Rock to the Hill. Each week, we'll break down what's happening in Newfoundland and Labrador politics and how it connects to the bigger picture in Canada. If you want more coverage of a specific issue in your community, reach out by emailing info@newfoundnews.ca or call us at 709-325-7011. This show was built to reflect what matters to you. I'm Kyle Brookings, and this is From the Rock to the Hill. We'll see you next week.
This has been From the Rock to the Hill. Thank you for listening.